Harden is the first Clippers player to reach 50 since Lou Williams did it at Golden State on January 10, 2018. Obama, who sat next to Clippers owner Steve Ballmer on the baseline, saw Harden make 14 to 24 shots, including 6 3-pointers. He also made 16 of 20 free throws. Harden ranks 4th in the NBA in 50-point games. Wilt Chamberlain is the all-time leader with 118, followed by Michael Jordan with 31 and Kobe with 25. The Lakers are home tonight against the New York Knicks at Crypto.com. The Lakers, number 2 in the Western Conference, are going for their 8th straight win. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
Who cares about the black community in Altadena? We do. On Saturday, March 8th at 10 a.m., it's the premiere of Conversation Live, Altadena Rising with James Farr. This new weekly show will explore the deep roots and resilience of Altadena's black community as we track its recovery and reimagine its future. From relief efforts to rebuilding, we're raising up voices, stories, and solutions to build back Black Altadena better and stronger than ever. It's Conversation Live, Altadena Rising with James Farr, every Saturday at 10 a.m. beginning Saturday, March 8th, with an encore presentation, Sundays at noon.
James Farr, the man who is the voice for Black Los Angeles.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
You wonder where I've been. I searched to find a love within, and I came back to let you know. Got a thing for you, and I can't let go. My friends wonder what is wrong with me. Well, I'm in the taste from your love, you see. I came back to let you know. Got a thing for you, and I can't let go.
That's the now late great Roy Ayers with his cover of Bobby Caldwell's classic, What You Won't Do for Love. As you have no doubt heard by now, we have lost Roy Ayers at the age of 84. I say for the third time today, all 3 hours, that we are losing too many of these musical giants too frequently for me of late. I just feel myself blessed and honored over the course of my career to have had so many occasions to talk to so many of these great artists, including Roy Ayers. But word has come that Roy Ayers has made his transition at the age of 84. But those are the smooth stylings of one Roy Ayers. His music, of course, will live forever. In this final hour of our program, as promised, 2 conversations today on the B side of this hour. Street artist Rabbi Torres on his most recent outdoor art campaign, which reads, We Buy Souls, S-O-U-L-S. We buy souls. This message is posted everywhere here in L.A. and Southern California. It's caused quite a stir. We'll let Mr. Torres explain that on the back side of this hour. But we commence our final hour today with Virgil James, co-founder and race director of the Selma to Montgomery Relay, which combines history and healthy living as we mark 60 years since Bloody Sunday. Virgil, good to have you on. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well, sir. How are you?
If I complained, I'd be an ingrate. I am doing well and delighted to be in conversation with you. Let me just start with a couple of broad questions. We'll get to the relay here in a moment. I love how you're connecting history and healthy living. That's important, ought to be important to all of us. But when you think about 60 years since Bloody Sunday, what comes to mind, man?
Most of us, a majority of us, weren't living back then.
Yeah.
So as leaders now, we have a responsibility to continue to keep their legacy alive. You know, events like this talk about what happened then because we're seeing, we're going back in time. Mm-hmm. Some of the repressive things that happened back in the 60s, we're seeing now.
Yeah.
With voter suppression, discrimination, the turning back of DEI initiatives. Events like this serve as a conduit to talk, to discuss, to kind of move the discussion forward.
Yeah. What do you make of the fact, Virgil, that we are, to your brilliant point, seemingly on so many fronts, certainly on issues and ideas, frames that matter to black people, we certainly seem to find ourselves in a U-turn of sorts. I can only speak for myself, but I want to get your take on it. It is distressing. I've not been at this for 60 years, but I've been at it for better than 30 years as a broadcaster. And I find myself now having conversations about things I thought we had litigated, things I thought we had won, terrain I thought we had traversed. And I find myself back in these same spaces, sometimes with the same people, about the same conversations decades later. To your point, we are in a space where we're sort of making a U-turn. I just had a guest on a moment ago who said that we're trying to cultivate hope in a political moment of doom. It's a great line. I'm holding on to it. Trying to find a way to cultivate some hope in a political moment of doom. How do you read that U-turn, as it were?
Well, I think you're spot on. As middle-aged folk now, we were the recipients of our parents going through this. And so now, we have a responsibility again to kind of, what do we do? Because we didn't have to walk, we didn't have to run, we didn't have to march. We were the recipients. We won because of our parents' suffering. Mm-hmm. And so we are in that regressive nature now. The climate is going backwards. I happen to live in Montgomery, Alabama, which has the dichotomy of being the cradle of the Confederacy and the birthplace of civil rights, and you're seeing that.
Yeah.
You're seeing that movement, that regression right now. I'm a parent, and I have to have these kind of conversations with my teenage daughter because she doesn't understand, because everything has been peachy for so long, and now it's turning.
Yeah, I was thinking, Virgil, as you mentioned a moment ago, Montgomery. This is my last live show of the week. On Fridays, I do a best of program. So this is my last live show of the week, at least. We started on Monday talking about Montgomery, sadly, because that's where Angie Stone had just performed, as you know. Angie Stone had just performed and on her way out of the city. She was in that tragic car accident that took her life, speaking of middle age, took her life at the age of 63. So we started this week talking about Montgomery, and ironically, I'm bringing this thing full circle. I hadn't thought about it in that way, to talking about this Selma to Montgomery 51-mile relay and bike race. It's an annual event that retraces the historic route of the 1965 Civil Rights March, led, of course, by Dr. King. The event commemorates the struggle for voting rights and honors the legacy of those, as you heard Virgil say a moment ago, who fought for equality, of which we are the beneficiaries. Participants, including runners and cyclists and relay teams, journey from Selma to Montgomery, embodying both a physical challenge and a profound historical tribute. But this, as you can see, is more than just a race. We'll talk more about it with Virgil Chains when we come forward on Tavis Smiley.
He's my support system. I can't live without him. The best thing since sliced bread is his kiss, his hugs, his lips, his touch. And I just want the whole world to know about my black brother. I love you, and I'll never try to hurt you. I want you to know that I'm here for you forever true, 'cause you're my black brother, strong brother.
Interrogating and unpacking. That's what we do around here. You're listening to Tavis Smiley.
After you use Bounce Dryer sheets and realize how fresh, soft, less wrinkled, and less staticky your laundry can be, you'll put a sheet on your every time. Like those socks that smell like they've been through a marathon. Put a sheet on or that blanket that's got wrinkles on its wrinkles. Put a sheet on your maybe even your chatty coworker who keeps distracting you. Okay, Bounce Dryer sheets can't do it all. But for fresher, softer, better laundry, put a sheet on it with Bounce.
Make a move into a home of your own. With City National Bank's Ladder Up Home Loan Grant, you could receive up to $20,000 that you never need to pay back. Use it toward your down payment, save on closing costs, or to buy down your mortgage rate. Find out more at cnb.com/ladderuphome. City National, here for every stage of the journey. Property must be in a qualifying market in California, New York, or New Jersey. Additional terms and conditions apply. Not all applicants will qualify. Terms are subject to change without notice. City National Bank is an equal housing lender. Member FDIC. NMLS number 536994.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
More honesty than you can handle. More empowerment than you can imagine. You're tuned in to Tavis Smiley.
Tavis Smiley and Virgil Chains. We're talking about this Selma to Montgomery 51-mile relay and bike race, an annual event that retraces the historic route of the 1965 Civil Rights March led by Dr. King. Virgil is the co-founder and race director of the Selma to Montgomery relay, and I'm honored to have him on this program. We were just talking about the fact that this is so much more than just a race. Tell me more about that part, Virgil.
Okay, so it's like a communal gathering, a family reunion of sorts.
Mm-hmm.
What we try to do is make this an event more than a race. It's an event to come together, to get together, to talk, to revisit these sites. Highway 80 between Selma to Montgomery is a really austere site, but it's one of the most iconic races out there in brand. And so 8 years ago, we put together this race thinking it would be a local race. It would be a local race that attracted local athletes. Today, we're an international race. We have 4 international athletes coming in. We represent about 45 states because it's more than a race. It's about retracing those steps of those giants many years ago that traversed that roadway in church shoes, in suits, sleeping on the side of the road, and our guys are out there with technical gear, with, expensive shoes and $20,000 bicycles, and we're able to do that. Our athletes come in early. They'll get in Wednesday of next week and stay through Sunday because we have developed a list of things to do, places to visit, so they can get thoroughly indoctrinated into this civil rights culture of Montgomery and Selma.
Yep. Tell me more about this connection. Actually, before I do that, I'm laughing, Virgil, because I'm looking at this 51-mile relay and bike race. The biking part I get, but you mentioned middle age earlier. I'm a man of a certain age now. But when I was a bit younger, I did not 1, not 2, but 3 marathons. I've done 3 marathons in my life. As you well know, a marathon is 26.2 miles, and that last 0.2 about killed me. Literally in my 3rd marathon, I broke my foot. I now know this in retrospect, but I broke my left foot at mile 16. I knew something had gone wrong, but I willed myself to finish that last marathon with a broken foot from mile 16 to the conclusion of that marathon, 26.2. And trust me, in the days thereafter, I paid the price for it. Fortunately, my foot healed well, but I ran the last 10 miles or so of that race with a broken foot. My point is, I know something of a marathon at 26.2 miles, but this is 51 miles, Virgil. Who's running a 51-mile race?
Well, calm down. So there's a small segment of ultra marathoners that are running the entire 51 miles.
Okay.
But the other participants are relay participants.
Okay.
They're 9 legs in differing lengths. So from 5 to 9 miles is what they are actually running. But the course is pretty hilly. And so even with 9 miles or 51 miles on the bicycle, it's still rough.
Yeah.
And so we have athletes that come back year after year. We have some 7-year participants that come to this race because they love what it stands for, and they love how grueling it actually is.
Yeah, I've been on that road many times between 7 and Montgomery. And so, to your point about it being hilly, I was about to say that there are a bunch of hills in covering that particular terrain. I'm just curious. I'm putting you on the spot. You may or may not know. You have any idea what some of the times are? Some of your record times for the ultra marathon runners that do this race, 51 miles. What their times are?
Okay. So last year, Sika Henry, which is the first professional black female triathlete.
Right.
She did the entire race in about 5 hours. So she was moving. She was moving. Most of our cyclists get in early.
Yeah.
But we'll have some folks that'll come in 12 hours, and we'll have to pick them up and actually bring them because they come for the event.
Sure.
Not, realizing this is actually a timed event. And so we're out there screaming, come on. But they are taking pictures and selfies and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Virgil, 5 hours to cover 51 miles?
Yes. Now, she collapsed at the end.
Yeah,
she was a sweetheart, and she'll be back again this year.
Yeah.
But she collapsed at the end. But it was good. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
And Tavis, I'd love for you to come down.
Yo, no, not 51 miles. But I'm just my hat's off. I'm bowing down. Everybody's bending the knee for Donald Trump these days. I ain't gonna bend the knee for Donald Trump, but I will bend the knee for anybody who can do 51 miles in 5 hours. That's a beautiful thing. But these ultra marathon athletes are amazing, and I can see why she'd collapse. After doing that. Tell me more about the way. How might I put this? There must be a particular joy that you feel in curating a race and a relay that is so connected to sharing the history of our people. We just went through Black History Month, February, and this audience knows I say it all the time. I quote a number of people during Black History Month, but throughout the year, I'm always quoting Du Bois, the great black intellectual, who once asked, would America have been America without her Negro people? Would America have been America without we black folk? The answer is absolutely no. But part of that, but a significant part of that journey doesn't happen if we don't have these victories in Alabama. So Alabama is a storied part of American history. Obviously, I ain't telling you that you don't already know, a storied part of African American history. And I love the fact that you've created this race and this relay that connects history with health. It's a beautiful thing, Virgil. I ain't mad at you.
Thank you. And what we've done with Selma is a part of a larger series called the Civil Rights Race Series.
Mm-hmm.
And what we've done is we develop races along the National Civil Rights Trail that commemorate different civil rights events. So from Little Rock to Memphis to Topeka, Kansas, Charlotte, North Carolina, Anniston, Alabama, anywhere there was a significant civil rights event, we put on events there. And one of the things that we learned years ago was we can't do this alone. So what we've done is we've partnered with other larger black endurance organizations like Black Girls Run, Black Men Run, Major Taylor Cycling, to spread the word, to build our capacity as we grow these events, because we know that we can't do it alone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Tell me the way that these races that you just referenced, the series, the relays, how this is being received inside of the state of Alabama, this red state, how it's being received as a way to continue to spread this history. I ask that because I'm always curious as to how Alabamans writ large, they can't run away from their history. I guess my question is whether or not you're seeing any progress over the years of them embracing the history and being able to share those stories to let that narrative out for people to be empowered by, particularly in a moment, Virgil, where we're seeing all these moves to not teach the truth, to ban certain books, et cetera, et cetera. How is this history lesson, again, connected to health, being received, being processed inside of Alabama?
Well, there's always resistance.
Yeah.
When we started, there wasn't much resistance because it was a small black group that had a few people that were running. Now that we are thousands that come in and we have a large economic impact, there's more resistance.
Yeah.
There's political resistance from our elected officials. Even though we have our first black mayor, above that mayor, there's a governor that's, from the other side that gives, there's resistance. The business community, with the shrinking of DEI initiatives, we're having issues with sponsorship. So that's difficult. Community engagement, although this is a multicultural event, from a local perspective, there are other events that have surrounded us by the majority community that wish to diminish, our light, but we, our numbers, are much larger than any of those organizations that they do. And the logistical hurdles.
Yeah.
Today, before our call, as we talk, I'm going through 3 counties, multiple city jurisdictions, and we're still having difficulties with police at this last moment. And so when you ask the question about, is it well received inside of the state of Alabama, from those outside of Alabama, it's well received.
Yeah.
From those inside, they don't see the struggle, but we're putting on an event that has a significant economic impact, so they can't ignore it.
Yeah.
And what we're doing is pulling together business interests that are outside of the state of Alabama that are making this thing grow and continue to grow.
Yeah.
We've grown exponentially in 7 years, and we'll continue to grow in spite of the resistance that we receive.
No, that's what we do, man. We keep growing in spite of. And I'm always struggling with whether or not I think persons in places like Alabama who don't look like us will ever come to terms with that history and just accept that it was what it was, and trying to avoid it, trying to ignore it, trying to tamp it down, trying not to be supportive of events like these. It just ain't the answer to the prayer. I digress on that for now. Give me some sense of, you said, it's a multicultural affair. People come from around the world, literally, for this race and relay. Is there a particular profile that you figured out, the kind of person that comes to an event like this every year?
We are about 70% African-American female.
Right.
Average age about 50. And that's our demographic that really gravitates to this event, specifically Selma to Montgomery. And so some of the events that we cultivate inside of the event, from our vendor fair to our meet and greet, to some of the things that we do as far as curating other events, kind of caters to that.
Yeah.
But we have corporate teams of all nationalities that come here for these 3 or 4 days, like I said, to embrace this culture.
Yeah. Tell me where you see this thing headed. You're 7 years in, so that's a victory in and of itself. Tell me where you see this thing headed in the years to come.
Well, my partners and I want to see this looking like a Boston or a Chicago marathon with its economic impact, its cultural impact, a place where, our people can come and find refuge, find support. Because even though we've run Boston, we've run New York, we've run Chicago, we're limited. We're the organizations that those events support are limited. And so organizations like ours, event planners, race directors like us, we are looking at how can we use our resources to impact the community. Because we have 3 tenets that we stand on as a Civil Rights Race Series. First, to tell the story. We want to tell the story, the historical context of whatever we're doing. We want to espouse fitness because we're marathoners and cyclists. And the third is economic impact. A portion of our proceeds from any of our events go back into the communities that we service, specifically Selma to Montgomery, because if you look what happened since the march, a lot of resources were taken out of those communities. So we're intentional in going into those communities to find vendors to service us, from our bus providers to our trucks to our caterers. We try to cultivate and curate those vendors in there to inject some of that capital back into those communities.
Yep.
We also look at social service organizations in those areas to provide funding so that they can do their work, because we understand that those areas are underserved, and so we want to be a help to those folks.
I want to circle back in the 2 minutes I have left here to that second point you made about espousing fitness. As I said earlier in this conversation, one of the beautiful things about this particular race, unlike all the others you mentioned, I take your point about Chicago and Boston and New York and other places, even L.A., where I sit right now, a number of great marathons in some major cities around this country, but none that covers, again, the terrain that this race covers historically, given all that has happened between Selma and Montgomery. So you have something, you got a value add, as we say. You got a value add that other races can't brag about. But your second point was espousing fitness, and particularly when you mentioned that your average profile, is of mostly black women, average age 50, something in that range. I love the fact that you're connecting this history to health. And as I say all the time, we don't have any soldiers to sacrifice, no soldiers to lose. I love the idea that obviously there's a health component connected to this. Close on that note, if you will, Virgil.
Yes, because our community has been underserved when it comes to espousing fitness.
Right.
When food deserts, we don't have, markets. Now we have dollar stores and that kind of thing. So espousing health and wellness, eat right, walk a little bit, run a little bit. There are folks that look like you that do these types of things, and this could increase the length of your life. And so that's the voice stream that we put out as we go into these communities. Yeah. Be healthy. You can do it.
Yep. Last word to you, Virgil. Give me the rundown about the dates, the activities, the website where people can learn more.
Okay. SelmaToMontgomeryRelay.com is our website, SelmaToMontgomeryRelay.com. Our event officially is March 15th, starting at 6:30 a.m. and going to 6:30 p.m. We encourage everyone to follow us on social, Civil Rights Race Series, Selma to Montgomery Relay, and look for us next year. Our registration for 2026 opens in April, and we look forward to seeing all of you, including you, Tavis, next year, doing this 51 miles.
I better start getting my training in, so I can run my 5 to 9 miles. His name is Virgil James, and I'm honored to have had Virgil on this program as the co-founder and race director for the Selma to Montgomery Relay. You're doing great work, Virgil. Always good to have you on. I celebrate you, sir. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir.
More of Tavis Smiley when we come forward.
For all the freedom-loving folk, this is Tavis Smiley.
I feel like freedom.
I'm Bree Wood with 4 things you should know with BIN News. The Trump administration announced a 1-month tariff exemption for automakers on goods from Canada and Mexico. Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt stated that President Trump granted this exemption after speaking with the big 3 automakers to prevent economic disadvantage. Arizona's 15-week abortion ban is no more. A Maricopa County judge blocked the law this week, labeling the 2022 ban as unconstitutional. The TSA expects a busy spring break travel season, predicting a 5% increase in travel from March 6th to the 24th. Fridays and Sundays are anticipated to be the busiest days, with nearly 3 million passengers potentially being screened on those days. And Adidas has sold the last of its Yeezy shoe stock, ending its partnership with Kanye West after his anti-Semitic remarks in 2022. A portion of the sales went to the Anti-Defamation League and the Foundation to Combat Anti-Semitism. Get BIN News on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Imagine a photograph of your favorite place in California. Then right in the middle of it, one piece of litter. Litter has no place in our lives, not one piece. Together, let's change that. Clean California. Zero litter is the goal. CleanCA.com.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
I'm a bad man.
With President Obama in the house, Clippers guard James Harden delivered a spectacular performance Wednesday night at the Intuit Dome in Inglewood. Harden dropped 50 points in the Clippers' 123-115 win over Detroit, helping the Clippers to snap a 3-game losing streak. The 35-year-old Harden is the first Clippers player to reach 50 since Lou Williams did it at Golden State on January 10, 2018. Obama, who sat next to Clippers owner Steve Ballmer on the baseline, saw Harden make 14 to 24 shots, including 6 3-pointers. He also made 16 of 20 free throws. Harden ranks 4th in the NBA in 50-point games. Wilt Chamberlain is the all-time leader with 118, followed by Michael Jordan with 31 and Kobe with 25. The Lakers are home tonight against the New York Knicks at Crypto.com. The Lakers, number 2 in the Western Conference, are going for their 8th straight win. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
Hey there, it's Karen.
And I'm Ernest. We're the co-hosts of Food for Thought with Karen and Ernest here on KBLA Talk 1580. Make sure you check us out Saturdays at 8 p.m.
And our rebroadcast happens on Sundays at 7 p.m. We'll be talking about the art of dining. We'll be giving food tips, talking to sommeliers, chefs, concierges, all the food influencers, everything food, everything dining. And sometimes with some of our friends just hanging out and talking food.
And when you listen to our show, we have a segment called Hot Dishes. Sometimes unpopular opinions, but we said what we said and we meant what we meant.
Also, we do food reviews with who's hot and who's not.
Yeah, you make sure you guys check out Food for Thought with Karen and Ernest here on KBLA. We've got a lot to talk about.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black. KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 reminds you, when we fight, we win. The Youth Justice Coalition is challenging America's addiction to incarceration and discrimination. YJC works to dismantle policies leading to mass incarceration, law enforcement violence, and the school-to-prison pipeline. Their approach, transformative justice, community intervention, free LA high school, legal defense, and system monitoring. YJC promotes safety without relying on prisons. Their goal, prevent system contact and help people exit the system through direct action, advocacy, and education. Want to get involved or need help? Call 323-235-4243. That's 323-235-4243. Join YJC in creating change. When we fight, we win. KBLA Talk 1580, your voice for justice. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580 is pleased to announce that, like George and Weezy,
Well, we're moving on now.
earlier this year, we were named a semi-finalist for the American Climate Leadership Awards 2025. Wait for it. You ready? KBLA Talk 1580 was recently selected as one of 10 finalists being considered for this prestigious award. Hundreds of organizations, institutions, and even cities were nominated in the selection process. But KBLA Talk 1580 has made it to the finals. You're invited to watch live on Wednesday, April 16th at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Central, as Eco America announces the winner and the runner-up, awarding over $200,000 in prize money. To watch live, just go to ecoamerica.org to register and attend the online ceremony. That's ecoamerica.org. Don't miss the presentation of the American Climate Leadership Awards 2025, Wednesday, April 16th, and wish us luck. Caring about the climate, caring about the community, changing the conversation. We're KBLA Talk 1580, and we've got your black. Helping to make you the most knowledgeable person in your circle of friends. This is Tavis Smiley.
Miles and I are grinning my board out. You can let that ride, Miles. This audience knows that whenever I have guests in the studio, I allow them to pick their walk-on music. And we didn't see this coming, but this is the music that Mr. Torres has chosen to walk onto. I'll give you a formal introduction in just a second, but why did you choose this?
Well, you got to make sure I'm on brand with the corporate sponsors, and I think this is the one thing that checks all the boxes. Make sure we're not dealing with any licensing issues after the show.
Okay, I like that. I've never had a guest, Miles, as you know, who thought through it in that way. In any event, we would cover that for you if we had to.
Oh, that's nice. Thank you.
But thankfully we don't have to, since you chose this. His name is Rabbi Torres. Why is he here? Because he's an amazing street artist, and his most recent outdoor art campaign reads "We Buy Souls," SOULES. There's a phone number attached to it, We Buy Souls. It is posted everywhere, and I do mean everywhere here in Southern California. If you're listening to us across the nation, as many of you are, it's posted everywhere. Again, caused quite a stir, and I'm glad to have him in to explain what this is all about. And again, whatever city you're in right now, y'all have street artists too, and we ought to give the street artists some love every now and then for making us think. Challenging us, as I said earlier, to re-examine our assumptions, expand our inventory of ideas, see the world through a different prism. That's what street artists do at their best, and I'm honored to have Mr. Torres in studio. Rabbi, how are you, sir?
I'm good. Thank you.
It is good to have you here. Let me just jump right in. We Buy Souls, SOULS, phone number underneath it. Tell me where this concept, this idea came from.
Before we jump in, I would like to say it's an honor being here.
Thank you.
Tavis,
I appreciate
Smiley,
that.
nice to be here.
Pleasure is all mine, man.
I would say, okay, you said he's a street artist putting his work up. I was approached by a company called The Entity, and they told me about this project, We Buy Souls, and apparently they're a subsidiary of that company. But so I started working for them, and I started putting up the signs, and it's gotten some really interesting feedback.
Yeah.
So we're in the process of acquiring, also leasing souls in Los Angeles and global, and we're thinking, maybe go past that and enter other realities and, different spiritual planes.
When we say we buy souls, unpack the messaging for me.
Okay. Well, okay. So.
Is that your phone on? Somebody's phone is playing some music. Maybe is it?
No, it's not mine. Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I apologize.
There you go. I was hearing a little background noise. It's okay. I can hear you better now. Go ahead.
Okay. I would say it would be there's this character that I'm playing right now who is part of the proletariat, right? I'm a working man. I'm a cog in the wheel, and I represent this company that has interesting background, like the ideas. What is this, right? Like, it's. I think companies are taking advantage of. A religion is pretty much like a company. You know what I mean? There are a lot of people creating companies. Oh gosh, I'm completely lost.
No.
I'm completely
so this is. Let me.
Apologies.
No.
I got caught up in this character. What I should say is it'd be stupid for me not to talk to you from my heart as an artist as well.
Right.
And so this came from the idea of wanting to create create a dialogue with people, and the thought of asking someone what their soul is worth and why based on their gender, race, how much money you make. This is absurd.
Now we're getting somewhere.
This is absurd.
Now we're getting. I knew if I kept pressing you, once your nerves calm down, it happens sometimes. A little nervousness. Once that calms down, we can go forward.
Yeah.
So this is a message as I see it. I mean, let me just say, when I'm driving in my car and I see these signs every day, it was a message for me. Here's how it resonated with me. It was a message about corporatization. It was a message about the way we have commodified everything, that everything has a price, everything has a value. Now we're buying souls. When I see these signs, my mind initially went to, we'll buy your home. Call us.
Of course.
We'll buy this. We'll buy that.
Of course.
And again, we live in a world where everything it has a market value. Something is wrong with the society that now places a market value on our souls.
Yes, people are the product.
People are now we cooking with fish grease. We cooking with fish grease now. People are the products. So tell me more then about the. I'm gonna ask that question again. Tell me more about where the creative idea came from to create a messaging campaign called "We Buy Souls." What were you thinking about?
I mean, same as you. You see a sign that says we buy houses. Fix your credit. I was looking at these signs and I thought, I said, "We buy souls," and I thought, oh my God, that'd be hilarious. Like, I chuckled to myself and said, all right, let me make this. And then it became this entire idea, this bigger idea, because the calls started coming in. I created a real phone
number, yeah.
And you're prompted to explain what your soul is worth and why.
Right.
And it's absurd. It's like, for black souls, press 1. For white souls, press 2. You know what I mean? And just the thought that there would be prompts for those races to explain what your soul is worth. So.
By the way, Miles, I want to play a couple of those calls. Tell me you got them queued up. I want
to we've got a lot of messages.
Yes, just what like 20,000 plus, I'm told.
Yeah.
So the sign, the street art is the message here. The narrative is "We Buy Souls." There's a phone number that I think I can say out loud because people are using it, right? 213-293-9156. So that's the sign. We Buy Souls with a phone number 213-293-9156. And they've gotten some interesting phone calls born of this street art. Miles Lowe, can you play one for me? Okay, I thought you were ready, brother. I'm giving you a heads up 5 minutes ago.
I'm interested in which ones you chose.
There's so many to choose from, right? So while he's queuing this up, let me
ask you a question. What do you think your soul is worth?
No, don't ask me that question yet. Don't ask me that question yet. My soul's priceless. That's the first. I see you got your contract here, right? He's putting out a contract here on the desk. Let me ask you this. When these calls started coming in, what did you make initially of these calls?
Oh my gosh, they're all over the place.
Right.
I'm thinking, okay, what can we afford? What's our budget? So I talked to the higher ups.
Right.
Try to find out, what's it going to be?
Get on that mic.
Pretty quickly, we started to realize that we might have to create a leasing option. You know what I mean? And to figure out the appraisal process, we have a third-party appraisers, and basically, we're asking the right questions.
Yeah.
We want to find out. We want to get to the bottom of what people's soul is worth before we make a purchase.
Right.
Are you the type of person who takes your socks off on the airplane?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Do you go to a therapist? Do you think you're a good person? Give me an example. Of something you've done. What's a movie you cried that made you cry? So basically trying to figure out how much people make, what they look like. On a scale of 1 to 10. How would you say your appearance is? What do you think? I'm asking you. Are you a 10? You're a supermodel, right?
I'm a 12.
Yes, exactly. So your soul will be high priced. You're black. Your soul's worth a so these days.
You think so?
I mean? Yeah, I think society would say no.
Hold that thought.
I think society would say no.
As I said,
but I say more.
We cook with fish grease now. He's a street artist, but that's what they do, right? They advance these campaigns in these streets all across the country that make us think. What would you do if you were in Southern California, any place else where you're hearing me right now, and there were signs posted everywhere saying, "We buy souls. We'll buy your soul." And there's a phone number attached. What would you think? We'll play some of those phone calls for you when we come forward here on Tavis Smiley.
From Leimert Park with love, this is Tavis Smiley.
We asked seniors how to prevent Medicare scams.
My best advice, if you get a phone call, do not talk to the person. These people are well-trained. Don't talk to them.
They don't know me. They're just trying to scam me.
Don't be fooled. Hang up. Just hang up.
Never give out your Medicare number.
They're going to get your number to put in a false claim.
If I get a call from someone, I don't pick up the phone. And should I pick up the phone and they ask for information, then I hang up.
How do you detect Medicare fraud?
Just like I check my credit card statements, I check my Medicare statements monthly.
Scammers can get a hold of your number, order medical devices through your account, and you're not even going to know about it if you don't look at your statement.
Check your statement every month. If you get your statement and you see something that you know you did not have done, you report it.
Call your Senior Medicare Patrol.
To report Medicare fraud, call the Senior Medicare Patrol at 855-613-7080.
Who cares about the black community in Altadena? We do. On Saturday, March 8th at 10 a.m., it's the premiere of Conversation Live, Altadena Rising with James Farr. This new weekly show will explore the deep roots and resilience of Altadena's Black community as we track its recovery and reimagine its future. From relief efforts to rebuilding, we're raising up voices, stories, and solutions to build back Black Altadena better and stronger than ever. It's Conversation Live, Altadena Rising with James Farr every Saturday at 10 a.m. beginning Saturday, March 8th with an encore presentation Sundays at noon.
James Farr, the man who is the voice for Black Los Angeles.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
One of life's greatest mysteries has finally been solved.
Who let the dogs out? Spruce!
It's Spruce, the new hard-working, worry-free weed and grass killer that's safe for use around people and pets. When used as directed, spray the leaves for visible results in just 1 hour and dead weeds in just 1 day. You spray, they play. Weeds die by the next day. Find Spruce wherever weed killers are sold.
You still thinking job change in the new year? Yeah, I need something that's in high demand and more stable in this economy. IT? Yeah, cybersecurity, maybe even AI. That's what I did. Really? How? Went to My Computer Career. You don't need any prior experience, and you could start your new career in a matter of months. A lot of IT pros go to school there, too, to level up. Sweet. Are classes online or on campus? Both. Wow, I'll check it out. Thanks.
Make this your year. Take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students.
Made fresh daily in Leimert Park, Los Angeles, California. You're listening to Tavis Smiley.
Tavis Smiley and Rabbi Torres, a well-known street artist here in Southern California, has a campaign everywhere now. Once again, in case you've just tuned in, you see these signs, if you listen to me in Southern California, that says, "We buy souls," SOULS. And there's a phone number, 213-293-9156. People have literally, by the thousands, been calling this number. Here's a taste of what they've been saying.
Hi, yeah. I heard you guys are buying souls. I'm mixed, so like I have 2 souls, and I think they're about $1,000 each. Give me a call back. I need that $2,000. I'm trying to move.
I don't know if this is real or not, but I would just like enough money to be able to live comfortably.
Yes, I was calling to do some business about making a sale.
I have lived my life as, I think, a kind and open person, very, very empathetic. So I actually think my soul is worth $1.4 million.
I think my soul's worth like 25 cents. I'm not even kidding you.
I've been expecting you.
Is this a joke? You want my soul, do you? Weirdo.
Just a sampling of some of the more than 20,000 phone calls that this street campaign, We Buy Souls, has generated. Give me, Rabbi, watching my time is getting away from me. Give me your sense of what you hear when you hear this variety of calls.
Yeah, I mean, it's all over the place.
Yeah.
So we're just trying to figure out, okay, what are the next steps? How do we appraise these souls?
Yeah.
And actually putting some contracts out and acquiring them.
Yeah.
And then, who knows? I mean, some of these souls could be worth a lot on the secondary market someday.
Yeah.
And so we're really trying to just, hammer out the details, but it's growing. It's growing. Let me tell you that.
You suggested earlier that you think that the market right now has an increased value for black souls. Tell me how you came to that conclusion.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. White souls are really overrated, but I will, let me tell you, at this time, We Buy Souls and the entity LLC, due to ongoing federal and state investigations, is not at liberty to answer that question. So, but
so you can't give me the price, you can't give me the value of what you're paying for black souls right now.
Yeah, due to multiple ongoing federal and state investigations, I'm not at liberty to divulge that information.
How is your business, We Buy Black Souls, faring in the era of Trump 2.0? Is that, I mean, we're seeing the impact that this administration is having on the markets. How's it impacting the price of souls?
You know what I'll tell you is that what you said, like seeing this sign as shocking, what looks shocking and divisive, I think has a very different intention.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This is about unification more than division, I think, because I'm looking to ask people to question. First of all, do you have a soul? What is a soul?
Yeah.
You know, and why? And what is it worth to you, and why?
Yeah.
You know, and that's an absurd question. So to even question your own values,
Yeah.
I don't think faith is a bad thing.
Yeah.
I don't think religion is a bad thing, but I think a lot of religions are operating like businesses.
Yeah.
And where, like I said earlier, people are product, and you know, the product now is time, energy, information. So it's interesting to hear these voices, and it ranges from dark to, oh my God, you know, suck my, you know what?
No, we heard it.
So
we heard it.
It's a great dialogue with the city for me. You know.
Yeah. It's fascinating when you talk to street artists, and I sort of feel for Rabbi Torres in the sense that I'm in a conversation with him where he's literally having to bounce between the character he plays and a real conversation about the price and value of our souls.
I didn't think it was going to be this difficult.
No, it can be difficult. I understand that. We should have just decided we're going to stay in one lane or the other. But you're brilliant enough to bounce between the two. The bottom line here is that this has generated a real conversation. And some of these callers are trying to figure out what this really means. Others are saying, as you heard on those calls, that there is a value for their soul. And so, again, artists at their best cause us to think. And I can assure you that everybody riding around town seeing these signs, "We buy souls," with a phone number on it, is curious about what this actually means. Our remaining moments with the street artist behind it, Rabbi Torres, when we come forward on Tavis Smiley.
Helping to stretch your moral and political imagination. This is Tavis Smiley.
If you're like me, 60 and retired, making ends meet, especially here at the supermarket and drugstore, is tough. I'm so blessed to have found benefitscheckup.org. It's a free and confidential website from the National Council on Aging that connected me to $1,200 a year in programs that help pay for food, medicine, utilities, and more. Maybe it can help you. benefitscheckup.org.
You know where you want to go in life, and City National Bank can help. City National knows the dedication it takes to build your vision for the future into a reality, and our team is here for you. We have a wide range of options to help, from personal savings accounts to interest-bearing money market savings accounts and more, all designed to help you get where you want to go. City National, here for every stage of the journey. Learn more at cnb.com. City National Bank is a subsidiary of Royal Bank of Canada, member FDIC.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Imagine a Los Angeles where everyone can thrive, where communities have access to the resources they need to succeed. That's the vision of Detours Mentoring Group, Inc. They're dedicated to improving life in LA County by providing educational support, employment assistance, and spaces for community engagement. By 2050, they want LA to be the best place to connect, create, learn, live, and play. They're working toward an education system that's well-resourced and culturally responsive, becoming a hub for artists and innovators, and making sure everyone has access to healthy food, quality healthcare, and safe housing. It's about building a future where we all have the chance to succeed. We invite you to learn more about their mission and get involved with Detours Mentoring Group, Inc. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
Let's get back to more of this rich dialogue with Tavis Smiley.
Tavis Smiley, Rabbi Torres, street artist here in Southern California, who has posted these signs all around town that read, "We buy souls," with a phone number on it. But in a moment like this, I was saying, one of our guests actually in our second hour was saying to me that we are in a moment where we're trying to cultivate hope in a political moment of doom. I've been holding on to that, cultivate hope in a political moment of doom. In that frame, you have this street art all around town here in Southern California and L.A. that says "We buy souls" with a phone number on it. And people literally have been calling this number and engaging, some in humorous ways, some in more serious ways, some trying to figure out what it means. But when you see art, so I want to just talk to you now, the artist, Rabbi Torres, when you see art that makes you actually think and ponder, that's the best kind of art. You have to be gratified by the response you've gotten to this, I would think.
I don't know if gratification is the right word. But
what is the right word then?
Confusion, maybe. It's confusing, and I think that's kind of where the source of the inspiration came from.
Yeah.
Feeling confused, and I think the pulse on Earth is a little confusing right now.
When you say confusing, unpack that. What's confusing about it for you?
Who to trust?
Yeah.
What to feel, and I think the media has gotten pretty loud, and everyone's telling you what is and isn't,
right.
And so where do you find the voice? Where do you find the feeling for what is right and what is wrong?
Right.
Because fuck if that's not objective. Sorry, excuse my language. So yeah, I think confusion and collective confusion and like recognizing that it's okay to be confused, because I think wanting to know what it is that's going on, wanting to know what's right and wrong,
right.
is a folly. And telling someone then, and then so there's a lot of people saying, this is what's right. Follow this, listen to me, and it's like, are you really the one I should follow? So this is a little piece of me saying, it's okay to be confused, and in a very weird way.
Yeah.
In an absurdist practice, this is an extension of that source for me, which is it's okay to not really know what's going on.
No, I love it. My job every day is to try to get people to think and see the world through a different prism. That's my role as a host, but his role as a street artist is to come up with ideas and creations again that get your attention, that make you think. And so when you are riding around in your car or in an Uber, however you're getting around, when you're visiting Southern California and you see these signs everywhere, "We buy souls" with a phone number on it, you'll know what's behind it. Rabbi Torres is the street artist behind this, and I've been delighted to have had him on this program. Just like that, 3 hours gone. Tomorrow's Friday, the best of Tavis Smiley. Some great shows this week.
Can I mention we're going to have...
Do it quickly.
We're on our way to our first headquarters, call center headquarters at Good Mother Gallery in August. We're on our way. We'll be buying souls, and
Good Mother
we
Gallery.
buy souls. You break them, we buy them.
I love it. Tomorrow, the best of Tavis Smiley. Thanks for tuning in, and as always, keep the faith.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with 4 things you should know with BIN News. The Trump administration announced a 1-month tariff exemption for automakers on goods from Canada and Mexico. Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt stated that President Trump granted this exemption after speaking with the big 3 automakers to prevent economic disadvantage. Arizona's 15-week abortion ban is no more. A Maricopa County judge blocked the law this week, labeling the 2022 ban as unconstitutional. The TSA expects a busy spring break travel season, predicting a 5% increase in travel from March 6th to the 24th. Fridays and Sundays are anticipated to be the busiest days, with nearly 3 million passengers potentially being screened on those days. And Adidas has sold the last of its Yeezy shoe stock, ending its partnership with Kanye West after his anti-Semitic remarks in 2022. A portion of the sales went to the Anti-Defamation League and the Foundation to Combat Anti-Semitism. Get BIN News on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Imagine a photograph of your favorite place in California. Then right in the middle of it, one piece of litter. Litter has no place in our lives, not one piece. Together, let's change that. Clean California. Zero litter is the goal. CleanCA.com.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
With President Obama in the house, Clippers guard James Harden delivered a spectacular performance Wednesday night at the Intuit Dome in Inglewood. Harden dropped 50 points in the Clippers' 123-115 win over Detroit, helping the Clippers to snap a 3-game losing streak. The 35-year-old Harden is the first Clippers player to reach 50 since Lou Williams did it at Golden State on January 10, 2018. Obama, who sat next to Clippers owner Steve Ballmer on the baseline, saw Harden make 14 to 24 shots, including 6 3-pointers. He also made 16 of 20 free throws. Harden ranks 4th in the NBA in 50-point games. Wilt Chamberlain is the all-time leader with 118, followed by Michael Jordan with 31 and Kobe with 25. The Lakers are home tonight against the New York Knicks at Crypto.com. The Lakers, number 2 in the Western Conference, are going for their 8th straight win. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
A new day is on the horizon. Behind every great moment in history, there's a woman whose story went untold. This March on KBLA Talk 1580, we're bringing those hidden narratives to light. Hear extraordinary stories of